Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Crazy D's Equipment. So today we're going to kind of talk about some things that I think you should think about when buying your collector items. So today guys, we'll start out over here by my Case DC3. Now I picked this thing up off an auction. I didn't give a whole lot for it, and all I needed to do to it when we got it home was put a battery on it and some gas, and the old girl took off. But that's where I want to start talking about, guys. I want to start talking to you about condition. Condition of the item that you're thinking about purchasing for your collection. The first thing I would like to talk about is a lot of guys, I see a lot of this on the collector pages on Facebook and stuff. Someone throws up a tractor. It's been in a hedgerow for 50 years. It's all four tires are rotted off of it. Half the engine's missing. The tin work's gone. The grill looks, what's left of the grill looks like someone stood there for hours with a hammer beating on it. The transmission's clear full of water. It's just a hunk of rusted iron. And there will be 30 guys on that page that says, save it, save it, save it. I think you need to take in for a moment and stop and think about how good is your mechanical ability. Not everybody has a junior mint and a doc that can help them out with stuff. What can you do mechanically? Are you a really good engine mechanic, but maybe you're bad with, you don't know how to paint and you don't understand body work? Maybe you are really good at paint and body work, but have no idea how one of these things run. You know, really take a moment, stop and think about, before I purchase this item or before I save it, can I do anything with it? Or will it just go to my house, sit in the back of my place and rot some more? Back in the early 90s, early 2000s, back when I was like in high school and was a young 20-year-old crazy adult, the tractor collecting hobby just exploded. Absolutely exploded. You couldn't go to any small town that didn't have a tractor pull or a show or something like that going on at some point in the summer. Everybody had a tractor. The prices of antique tractors shot through the roof. You couldn't go to a farm sale and get a good deal at all. I mean, they sold for crazy money. But what I'm seeing now, especially being somebody who buys and sells old tractors, is I'm getting phone calls from people that are like, hey, I have Dad's tractor. He restored this in 92 or 93. He got sick. It's been sitting in the barn since 2000, 2004, 2005. We don't know what to do with it. So that's another thing I kind of like for you guys to take a moment and think about is it's great to bring them home and get them restored and to save them, but for how long are you saving them? Is there a plan for them afterwards, after you're too old to play and operate them? Now, hopefully most of us still got years and years of playing with these things. I'm hoping for at least another 60 years, but that's something I think you guys should definitely take for a moment and think about. So let's kind of recap just for a second. So think about, is your mechanical ability where you need to be to take on that project? Because otherwise, you're never going to get that one restored. I have many times got a phone call saying, hey, I got this Minneapolis U, or I got this Farmall H, it's in my garage. When I bought it at the farm sale, I thought I could get it fixed up, but I came to this point and I didn't know what to do, or I got to this point and I couldn't finish it, and it's all apart in my garage. You know, what is it worth to you? At least parts maybe, or something. You know, they got in too deep. They jumped into that frying pan screaming hot and thought that they were going to fix up and restore this tractor, and all they did was tear one down, and now it's parts. Because I'm going to buy it from you. I'm not going to give you much for it. I'm going to buy it from you, and then I'm going to sell it off as parts. It's, you know, they didn't save it. It's, you know, in a way they did. Though I have to give you that, on the way you did save it, because now that tractor donated parts to other ones so they can be restored. So it's kind of a cycle. You know, when I used to run the family salvage company, we had lots and lots of tractors that we picked up on farm sales that I brought home. And the first question out of the old man's mouth at the auction, are you going to restore that? And now, I didn't always tell the truth there because I didn't want to hurt their feelings, but 99% of the time, no. I was going to bring it home, I was going to part it out for everything I could part it out for, and then what was left, the transfer case, the engine block, stuff like that, that isn't going to sell very fast for me, probably went in for scrap. And that's just kind of how the game had to be played. If I kept every single antique tractor I dragged home, I would need 100 acres to keep them all on, and I just don't have that kind of space. So, but when it comes to old tractors, that's kind of what I'm saying. You know, let's think about your mechanical ability, think about what you can do. The other thing I think you need to think about is you think about the money. How much money are you willing to spend? Just because you pulled this tractor out of the hedgerow for 50 bucks, you're going to put 2 or 3, 4, 5 grand into it. And that's something else I run into all the time with people in old tractors, is they call me, I got this tractor, me and Dad restored it together, with this, you know, Farmall M. We got brand new tires, it's got front and back, we rebuilt the engine, we redid the rear end, we put all new bearings and stuff in the rear end and stuff. We got $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 dumped into this tractor. We used a good DuPont paint with the hardener in it, and this thing is slick as a penny. What would you give me for it? Well, I'm not going to give you more than $2,000. Because it's not going to sell for me or anybody else for more than $2,000 to $3,800 on a complete restored tractor like that. So kind of think about how much money you want to put in. Now, I know when you're restoring something, you're usually not restoring it for resale value, but think about the value later on, because you're not going to, unfortunately, you're not going to live forever, and you're not going to have that thing forever. So how much money is it worth putting into it? And it's really, that's the question you got to ask yourself inside. That's up to you. How much can I afford, and how much am I willing to put into it? So on tractors, those are just some of the things I want to talk about. So let's move over. I got another thing I kind of want to talk to you about on this same subject. So let's move over there. So guys, here's one other thing I want to talk to you about. So we moved over here to the David Bradley plow. It's just a little one bottom plow. I'm really proud of this thing. It needs to be repainted. It is painted wrong, but besides the plow, something else to think about. If you're going to collect tractors or even garden tractors, think about collecting the equipment that goes with them too. There's only so many tractor shows, there's only so many tractor pulls and tractor rides you can go on before owning that tractor gets boring. Now, I like to leave my tractors, personally, I don't usually paint them up. I kind of like to leave them in their work clothes. That way I can put this kind of stuff on them. I can take them out to the little bit of ground that I still have, and I can go out there and I can work them, and I can play with them, and I can use them, and I can really enjoy them. I see so many guys go to work and they restore a tractor and it's nicer than it is new. And I think, personally to me, I think what a waste of money and time, because now it's a beautiful showpiece and it's a beautiful parade tractor, but they weren't made to be driven in a parade. They were made to be put out in the field and to pull a plow and put 10 hours a day plowing. And yeah, we don't use them anymore like that, but I mean, you wouldn't want to take that tractor and put this plow on the back of it and go out to a plow day and run that tractor. I mean, you'd just be too worried about scratching the paint or getting it super dirty and stuff. So I really think if you're going to collect the tractors and if you're going to get into this hobby, and if you are in this hobby, that's a great thing. Think about this. If you're just thinking about, God, I really like to buy a tractor, I live out in the country now, blah, 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 is get the equipment that goes along with them. Save this stuff too. If you're worried about saving history, then save the reason the tractor was made. Save the plow and the disc and the harrows and the cultivators and the planters and all that stuff that went along with them, that made them the farm vehicle that they were, that helped make America or any country the way it is by the farmers that fed them and the equipment that tilled the ground so the farmers could do their job. So, but that gives me one more thing I want to talk to you about. Let's move over there. So guys, kind of one more thing I want to hit up on before we wrap this up today. Space. How much space do you have? I mean, there's no reason for you to have a full-size tractor if you live in suburbia or if you live somewhere in town. Unfortunately, you're never going to be able to do anything with it. It's going to be a parade, it's going to be a show tractor, and the rest of the time the poor old machine sits there not doing anything. And nothing's worse for old machinery than is to sit. It just speeds the rotting process up more. Think about your space. So say you live in suburbia or you have 5 acres and you really don't have a use for a tractor, but you want to collect this old stuff anyways. There is so much stuff in the garden tractor world, from walk-behinds and riders to strange rototillers, and hundreds of manufacturers to collect. Now this right here, this is my little David Bradley walk-behind. One of many lawn and garden stuff that I have. You know, I use this thing. We got a sickle mower on the front. You know, I use it in the garden sometimes. I use it here, I use it there. This thing I need to do some work to it. I haven't got to use it in a while, but you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, it has use out here. And that's something you should really think about is, am I going to be able to do anything with it, or is it just going to sit in the garage? And then after I haven't got to use it for quite a while, I'm going to lose interest in it. And then I'm going to put it up on Craigslist or Marketplace and try to sell it and be really upset when that guy messages me, what's your bottom dollar? And you know, well, will you take $500 for it? And you're asking $3,000. So just kind of think about that kind of stuff before you go out there and you buy that first thing. And if you have bought some things, good for you. I'm glad you're in this hobby. We need as many people in it as possible. You know, this is just kind of my opinion. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, guys, thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching this. And best to you all, and I hope you find that prize item that you're all looking for.